Hello, fellow fish nerds and students past, present, future, and ones I'll never teach in person. This video science lesson series is about tides. Let's make it about tides. So, tides are affected by the moon. Very important aspect of tides. But there are basically two types of tides, other than obviously high and low, but there are 2 times of the year, not 2 times of the year, 2 times the month or moon cycle when the tides are noticeably different, and those are a spring tide and a neap tide. We'll start off with a spring tide. Let's put the sun over here. Sun, once again, I apologize for my handwriting. I know that's strange for a teacher to have sloppy handwriting. So we have the sun. And we have over here, we have the earth. I know that these are not drawn to scale at all or anywhere close. I'm not trying to. This is just for demonstration purposes. Now, a spring tide is when the moon, which will be demonstrated by this circle right here with the letter M in it, is either in between the sun and the earth, or it is on the other side of the earth. Either way, a spring tide is when the sun, the earth, and the moon are all in a line. They're in a straight line. This causes, and obviously it doesn't look just like what I'm about to draw, but this is just for demonstration purposes. It causes extremely high tides and extremely low tides. And this happens during a new moon and a full moon phase of the moon phases. But once again, a spring tide is when the sun, the earth, and the moon are all in a line. Obviously, we only have one moon, but this is showing either a new moon or a full moon. Okay, don't worry, people, there's only one moon still. Just because I drew it really poorly, showing 2 moons, doesn't mean we have 2 moons. The next type of tide is called a neap tide, N-E-A-P. A neap tide is when the sun, the earth, we'll put a letter E in there, sorry I couldn't fit it all in there. The sun, the earth, and the moon are at a 90-degree angle. Here's a moon right here. Once again, not to scale, obviously, because the earth and the moon are not that close in size. Is when the sun, the earth, and the moon are at a 90-degree angle, either at first quarter or at third quarter, which is causing the sun to pull in this direction, and the moon to pull in this direction or this direction, which causes things to be kind of or bleh kind of stuff. It's a very weak tide. A neap tide is a weak tide. Okay, it's a weak tide. That's basically it. It's when the sun, the earth, and the moon are at a 90-degree angle or they're perpendicular. They create a very weak tide. I'm not a surfer, but I would think that a neap tide would have very bad times for surfing. For those who like to go fishing, I would think that it also wouldn't be very good for fishing if you're waiting for the tide to bring in fish. I don't know how tides affect fishing. I just know fish tanks, and I know a bad day fishing is better than a good day at work. So I'll go fishing any day and I don't really worry about the tides. I just put the hook and the bait and the line in the water and just wait and just enjoy the peace. Anyways, I digress. Spring tide, they're all in a line. Neap tide is when they're at a 90-degree angle or perpendicular. It causes a weak tide. Spring, they're all in a line. Neap, they're weak. They're perpendicular, like I said. Hope you found this informative and helpful. If you have any questions or requests for other science content lessons to be on video format, which makes things shorter and hopefully easier, please let me know in the comments below. If any of my facts were wrong, please feel free to fact check me in the comments below as well. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed making it shorter than a full-on class. This 5-minute video, actually less than 5 minutes, would take me during class about 15 to 20 minutes at least to teach to my students. This will be showing up on the space test. So be ready for that, obviously, because we're dealing with the sun and the moon and the earth, which is obviously our planet. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned from it. Stay tuned and stay fishy, people.